All right. Our final storyteller of the evening is no stranger to telling stories. She has performed for Toastmasters and the Moth Radio, which is what this is sort of modeled after. And she's going to tell us a story about how her mother drew her family together, drew them together at Christmas time, drawing them nearer to love. So come on up, Pam.
This story is called The Greatest of Gifts. Advent marked the beginning of life for my mother Mary and our family. You see, Mary was a severely depressed person who, for 3 months every year, transformed into this spectacular, phenomenal beacon of light that made our holiday season a spectacular heavenly wonderland. From early November until late January, Mary was somehow able to open her heart and amazingly outpoured the love of the Holy Spirit to everyone who happened upon the McGinnis household. Yeah, I know, Advent is technically only in December, but Mary turned it into 3 months. Mary would create this explosion of joy for every one of our 5 senses. The sights, smells, flavors, sounds, and feelings of Christmas, orchestrated by my mother, drew our family and the Holy Spirit together for 3 phenomenal months every year. Our house looked like a Christmas boutique. Beautiful Currier and Ives, the classic nativity scenes, and every kind of kitschy, lit up, movable, glittery, Frosty the Snowman type decoration known to humankind was all in our house, and spilling out into the front yard, into the backyard, and even up on the roof. But Mary wasn't the only one responsible for this visual overload. My father, John, was a toy buyer from Montgomery Ward, which is almost like saying my dad was Santa Claus, but not real. The biggest toy makers in the world tried to send us free samples of the latest, greatest toy sensations. Of course, my father had to coordinate this with Santa. We had so many gifts that sometimes we had 2 Christmas trees, one upstairs in the living room and the other one downstairs in the den, completely loaded with presents. I loved the smells and the flavors in our house during the holidays. My mother could really take or leave cooking most of the year, but from November through January, we had feasts that could bedazzle the middle American foodie in anyone. Daily, Mary would adorn our holiday table with turkeys, hams, roasts, and starches aplenty. But Mary's specialty was her delicious baked goods. The fragrance of those luscious, yeasty delights filled with sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and chocolate wafted through our overly bedecked halls as though heaven were the most glorious bakery and we lived there. Little did we know that Mary's overindulgence in those sugary treats played a major role in Mother's emotional absence throughout the rest of the year. Our house had a delightful holiday soundscape. Mom loved Christmas music of virtually every genre. Hence, we listened to holiday albums from Nat King Cole, the Berlin Philharmonic, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, Frank Sinatra, Julie Andrews, Glenn Miller, and Dip, 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 Sha-Na-Na. Mom purchased every holiday album she could possibly acquire, giving us an annual quarter of auditory ecstasy. My very favorite memories of the real Advent consist of me sitting quietly in the late night, alone in the living room with my mother. Shh. Everyone else in the house was in bed. We were through eating, listening, playing, and singing. A stillness enveloped us. We were together, alone, in our pajamas, feeling what I now know was the Holy Spirit filling our hearts. We never spoke about this annual experience. We didn't have to. These completely quiet moments drew us closer together more so than any other time. It was by sitting with someone I knew loved me unconditionally that I was able to feel God's grace. In these quiet, warm moments, watching the flickering lights, I came to understand that celebrating the coming of Christ does not require decorations, food, or special words. Communion with the Holy Spirit requires a silent opening of one's heart and the desire to give and receive God's love brought to us by Jesus Christ. I deeply thank God, Jesus, and my mother for this, the greatest of gifts. Happy holidays.